If you've been around this channel for a while, then you may remember my video about how much I love the new version 50 Dyne. Since then, my opinion has shifted quite a bit and I feel that now is a great time to talk about why Dyne sucks because it was just updated a bit. In the background of this video, I will be playing solo runs of Dyne version 62. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and consider supporting me with a membership. I would really appreciate it. Dyne has been the topic of discussion for many players since the game has released, and it is likely the most controversial moon that the game has ever had. Dyne has been addressed multiple times since the launch of the game, but it hasn't necessarily been fixed, and many even argue that it has become much worse as time has gone on. The first point I wanted to touch on was just to talk about how unfriendly Dyne is to solo players. While yes, the game is designed around multiplayer, the rest of the game is entirely playable and many challenges are even based on being solo. For example, I have attempted the solo Iron Man a ton of times, and Dyne has ended my runs more times than I can count. This is partly because Dyne is the home of the Butler, a monster designed to attack players who are alone. The main issue with that is that when you're playing solo, you're always alone, so if you see a Butler, most of the time you're simply forced to leave, but Dyne's issues extend far beyond just solo play. The monster spawns on Dyne are absolutely abysmal. Think about monsters in Lethal Company. Now think about the ones that you find the least fun, excluding the Kidnapper Fox, of course. That is what you get on Dyne. Butlers, barbers, jesters, nutcrackers, brackens, and coilheads are all present and decently common here. Many of these simply force you out of the facility and make it nearly impossible to get any more scrap. Now, as bad as this is, the outside of the facility is 10 times worse. Remember when I told you to think about your least favorite monsters? I'm sure at least one of you guys said the Forest Keeper, also known as the Giant. The Forest Keeper has a 60% chance to spawn on this moon, meaning that there will almost always be at least one, and many times much more than one. Leaving the facility can be downright impossible, solely because these guys love to sit near exits, twixt the impossible mountains, or on top of the ship. On top of that, you can't run from them either because eyeless dogs have a 30% chance to spawn here, forcing you to pick between being eaten by the giant or getting mauled by the dog. Also, the cruiser here is just unusable. While the version 60 change was done to improve Dyne, it didn't really address many of the previous issues, and it could possibly have led to even more down the line. For example, instead of just the main entrance starting underwater when it's flooded, now both entrances do. You can get into main just fine at the start, but if you're running away from something and want to use the outside as a way to escape, you may just wind up drowning if a giant doesn't get to you first. These changes are also incredibly confusing to newer or returning players. My friends told me that their first time playing version 60, they wound up going to the fire exit instead of the main entrance and then wasted a ton of time searching for where they put main. I personally would also consider the mineshaft interior to be a detriment to Dyne. The mineshaft is substantially harder than any other interior in the game, and while this interior can increase opportunity for scrap, it also greatly increases your chance of dying. With a 30% chance that the interior of Dyne is a mineshaft, Dyne is one of the most difficult planets, with competition only from Artifice. But Dyne can be fixed, and I have a few ideas that could possibly improve it. For example, instead of having an entrance directly on the ground like it is now, make a raised entrance with a ladder like Assurance. This would do a few things for the benefit of the player. It would raise the entrance out of the flooded water, it would prevent giants from camping where you leave the facility, and it would give good space for you to survey your surroundings before you start going back to your ship. I would also make the mineshaft interior less common or even remove it from Dyne entirely, as I believe it would fit better on Titan anyway. Lowering the chances of giants to spawn would also be very nice as well. And rather than changing Butler spawn rates, I suggest that they should add stop signs and yield signs into the loot pool to help create more counterplay against them, especially in solo. They could also just simply change the Butler when the game detects that you're playing solo, as to make it more fair for that player. Clearly, Dyne is currently the worst moon in Lethal Company, though it has potential to be amazing. With no substantial benefits to coax you to go there, while some players may not care that Dyne is bad, I think that all moons should be balanced with their upsides and downsides to make it so that you can go anywhere and enjoy the game. There's not really a good reason to go to Dyne instead of Rend, and if you have the money for Titan, then you should just never go to Dyne again. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Dyne should be changed at all, or are you happy with how it is currently? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!